Like their preferences for that are really based on one, how much they travel, and two, how many points they're earning.
Recently, a subscriber asked me, hey, can you rank all the transfer partners? You know, I have a little bit of experience with travel. Honestly, I'm going to be completely honest. I'm probably going to lean on a lot of your expertise, Luke. Sometimes we call him Luke's cashback, right?
Yeah.
This is going to be more of like a simple kind of tier list, but if you want to check out more like in-depth, like Luke actually goes over some of the best redemptions for these transfer partners, you can go out and check out his channel. So S tier is going to be, you know, almost God tier, like the best way to use your points no matter what. A would be, you know, it's pretty good. I would go for it. B is probably going to be like the control. C would be on the top of my head right now. I'm thinking Marriott. It's a little bit after the revamp. It's a little bit hard to value them. And then D is like the absolute worst. Ready to get started?
Let's go. Let's do this.
First is going to be Aeromexico. So I know that you talked a little bit about Aeromexico. Capital One has the transfer, but it's only 1-to-1. American Express has a pretty good, you can get it like 1.6, I believe.
Yeah, 1 MR point to 1.6 Aeromexico point. I don't know a lot of people who use that program. I know there are a sweet spot or two, and I think maybe Mexico City to Athens, Greece could be one of them. I'm going to put them in the D list, and it's tough because I just think that it's very difficult to find a way to use these more than occasionally, and by occasionally maybe once.
I can definitely see that. I mean, not too many people in our community really see the highest redemptions for this program. The second one, so Air Canada. So recently I actually booked a trip for my mom to go to Hong Kong for it. It wasn't too bad. It was maybe like 1.5 cents per point. It wasn't like amazing. It was for an economy ticket.
I'm going to hold the suspense. Aeroplan is S tier. Okay. First off, the website is very easy to use. It's very intuitive. It's not clunky. It's exactly what you're looking for. Second is the amount of redemptions available. Star Alliance is the largest airline alliance in the world. Speaking just about redemptions to Europe, you're basically looking at 60,000 Aeroplan points, because they won't call them miles because those Canadians don't travel with miles.
As is tradition.
You can earn Aeroplan points with almost every Capital One and Chase. You can earn tons of Aeroplan points. The next reason is purchase a stopover for just 5,000 points. Which could absolutely change a really good redemption to a phenomenal one. And one more bonus reason. They're quite often transfer bonuses to Air Canada's Aeroplan.
Yeah.
Which makes them even more powerful. So S tier, absolutely.
Cathay Pacific.
Okay.
Now this one's going to be good for Hong Kong.
I've looked into it, and I think they could use a lesson in marketing, because Cathay Pacific uses Asia miles.
Yeah, right.
So for me, for a long time, that kind of confused me. If I'm looking for Cathay Pacific miles or Asia miles, their website is pretty bad.
Yes.
And I mean, so bad, it might be bad enough for you to not use them at all. One thing that people don't consider is you can use Asia miles to fly to London and not pay those giant British Airways surcharges.
I didn't know that.
That's a hidden gem.
So what do you think?
Okay. I'm going to put them...
I feel like B. You think so?
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go with B, because there are less transfer bonuses, but what Cathay will do is they will advertise their own bonuses that maybe Amex or Chase won't advertise.
That's really interesting. Good tip. Avianca.
So Avianca, I think, is probably the best program a lot of folks don't research or don't use or don't think of. A lot of utility here. Their website is also kind of clunky and kind of buggy. Another con for Avianca is traditionally they have not had great customer service when you call them. Another con of Avianca, very difficult to change or cancel a booking. But good things about Avianca, phenomenal partner to fly from North America to Europe. I think Chase doesn't have Avianca. I think Capital One, City, and Amex do. They do have regular transfer bonuses. The cons is going to put them down to A.
Yeah.
The difficulty with customer service, the cancellation fees, I can't put them in S tier, but I think there's enough use case there to put them in A. And guys, if you are a passport bro, you can get tremendous deals from Miami to Bogota or Miami to Cartagena for your bachelor parties.
Turkish.
When you talk about Turkish, you're going to hear a lot of people talk about the recent devaluation. But I will say this. With Turkish, you are going to have another clunky website, more difficulty booking things because, like you said, you do have to email them sometimes. But you can fly to Istanbul for 45,000 Turkish miles just for that. Yep. I've often said if you've never been to Istanbul, you're not a world traveler. I'm going to put Turkish, even with the devaluation, I'm going to put them in B, but they can't be an A for one, the difficulty, and two, Chase and Amex don't transfer to Turkish.
Right.
The two big kids, you're going to have to go outside. You're going to have to go to City and Capital One.
British Airways. Now, I know you're a little bit not speculative, a little bit edgy about this one. They have a lot of good transfers, like good bookings, but just the fuel surcharge can be a little bit heavy. Like it's like $500 or so, right?
Business class to the UK is going to run you over $900 per ticket. And to me, that makes it not an option. Your Uncle Luke does not have $900 to go to the UK. British Airways does have a lot of value in this game. And we talked earlier today about American Airlines and how difficult it is to accumulate American airline miles. That's not it with British Airways. If you're familiar with their program, it's the Avios. You can transfer to Iberia, Aer Lingus, Finnair now, and Qatar. That gives them a level of diversity not found in really any of these programs. I'm going to say for the versatility, they have to be in B. Yeah, I'm comfortable with B, and I know a lot of you guys will say, you could push them up there for each individual use case, and I'm fine with you in your situation pushing them up a little bit.
Choice Hotels. Now, at first, I didn't think Choice Hotels was that great of a program, but I stayed at Cambria and I checked out the point rates, and it wasn't actually that bad. I actually quite like it. Now, for the lower tier ones to actually earn the points, I would prefer not to stay at some of those unless you're just like road tripping. I totally understand that point.
I'm going to agree with a lot of what you said. With Choice, you're not considering the lower tiers for anything.
Right.
If you value safety or cleanliness, or you're just not going to stay at the Roadway Inn anywhere that I've seen before.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. I don't remember the last time I stayed at a Choice hotel, but I do know you can get tremendous value if you're transferring from City or Wells.
Yeah.
The 1 to 2 transfer rate changes the game with Choice. And I will also say this: go to South America and book a Radisson or or one of those not higher, but one of those nice Choice properties. You're going to get tons and tons. You're going to get 2.5, 3 cents per point value. And if you're using it in that way, I'm going to put it in A tier.
Yeah, I was thinking A tier as well. Emirates.
Okay.
Emirates I love the airplanes. I honestly don't know too much about the transfer. Their website is a little bit clunky to me as well.
Their website is a little more difficult, and I think that your best use case for Emirates are going to be upgrades. You can upgrade with their miles, but you also have with Emirates, you have JFK to Milan, Italy, or JFK to Athens, Greece for 87,000 Emirates miles. One more thing, Emirates has, and they are kind of scheduling more Fifth Freedom flights. Fifth Freedom flight meaning the flight originates and lands in a country other than its own. I'm going to put them at C tier. My reasons for that is there are less redemptions for us normal people. And that's about it. You can book American Airlines flights with them.
Is it that easy though?
Yeah, you may have to call them.
Okay.
Which I'm not ever going to do.
Etihad is a little bit different. It's also originating from the Middle East, but you can actually find a little bit better value from them, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Let me preface this with, this is just my weird personal taste, but Etihad's gold and wood makes me sick.
Really?
I do not like that whatsoever. Like just the aesthetics of that. I know it's high level. I know it's great. I would love to fly on their planes, but that apartment they have that's wood grain and gold makes me feel like I'm at grandma's house. Now, the difference between Emirates and Etihad, real basic. Emirates is in Dubai. Etihad is in Abu Dhabi.
Right.
Both high level. But as far as a transfer partner to Etihad, I don't see a scenario in which I'm ever transferring any kind of bank currency to Etihad. Man, I'm going to put them down there with Aeromexico. If you know of anything that would change that, comment below and tell us what we're missing on Etihad. Would I like to fly Etihad to Abu Dhabi? Yes. Oh, yeah. Come on.
Right?
Absolutely.
Finnair. So they recently, like you were saying, joined Avios, right?
They are Avios.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, I have to admit something. I have not looked into Finnair. I don't have an opinion on them. Them being an Avios, they're going to be at least C tier. Because I just have not. I know Nick Reyes from the Frequent Miler has used their program. I know there's possibilities there. I just have not looked into them yet.
Flying Blue. Yeah, it's not too bad to fly to France, like 20,000, 40,000, depending on economy or business.
Yeah, I also have the Flying Blue card from Bank of America. So I have silver status with
Wait, what?
yeah, it's not a very well known card at all. Underrated benefits if you're flying Blue.
Right.
Like you said, Flying Blue comes out with promotions every month on the 1st. Tremendous promotions. 12,500 Flying Blue miles, economy to France or to Amsterdam. SkyTeam, you can book cheap domestic Delta flights. If nobody told you, Delta Sky miles are not a very good currency. If you fly business class to Paris or Amsterdam, you're going to get $220 to $250 fees on that redemption, which doesn't sound like much until you fly your wife and Carlos to Amsterdam on a great deal, but it costs $800. So I struggle to put them in S tier because of the fees.
I was thinking A tier.
But they're absolutely they're a very strong A tier.
Right.
They're an A plus, I think.
Qantas. Yeah, Qantas isn't too bad.
You can fly El Al to Tel Aviv. As far as I know, they're the only commercial airline that has anti-weapon defenses on the plane. Now, some people are saying, I don't want to fly. No, I want to fly that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Because if I know that the bad guys are probably not going to target the El Al, they're going to target the insert name here instead. Everybody that I know, their ultimate once in a lifetime redemption is Australia, right? Once you get past Hawaii, it's all, I want to go to Australia. Okay. And I get it. It's just really far away, but Qantas is the largest airline in Australia. Start looking at Qantas, which partners with a lot of credit card issuers. You can book American Airlines with Qantas. Should you be looking at Qantas before anyone else? I don't know. Ask Sebi did a Qantas redemption to Hong Kong. I think they can hold their own in B. They're either a C plus or a B minus. Just not a ton of stuff for you to do.
Probably because it's not, especially a lot of people love to go to Europe and stuff. It doesn't seem like I've seen that many, amazing redemptions for them.
Right.
I'll probably just go with C just because of that. Like you said, it's probably the last mile kind of travel to Australia. Sometimes I mix it up with Austria.
So do people actually fly to the wrong place.
Oh, really?
They have a booth. From what I haven't seen it, but from what I understand, Austria has a help booth for people who thought they were going to Australia.
This one has a sweet place in your heart.
Yeah.
Singapore Airlines. Now, they have really nice suites.
And if you book 2 Singapore suites, you can combine them.
Yeah.
You can combine the bed. So what you end up having is a good sized bed and 2 kind of captain's chairs. But apparently it's an amazing experience. It's got to be up there with some of the best redemptions you could ever do as far as airlines. Besides flying to Singapore, what can you do? Now, I flew JFK to Frankfurt. When the Singapore Airlines crew walks through the airport, everybody stops what they're doing and they look at them. They have the perfect posture, the I don't know if it's traditional Singapore dress or clothing, but it's
like the head thing.
It's tight wrapped dresses. They're very professional, just so over the top good at what they do. And for me, the way they treated I think he was 6 years old at the time, unreal service, unreal hospitality, unreal product. Do they need anything else?
Remind me again, is it in the Star Lines?
Pretty sure, yeah, because I booked it with Aeroplan. You can earn their points fairly easy with a lot of different programs, and they do have bonuses. I don't know of a bunch of sweet spots, but if you're flying to Singapore or you're flying anywhere between here and Singapore, if you're flying to Japan or Korea, I think it's a great option. I'm going to put them in the B tier.
Air Portugal. Now, it's pretty good redemptions for within South America, I believe.
I'll be honest, I'm not super familiar with their South American stuff. They're a Star Alliance partner. I think they're a great program to fly to Portugal.
And there's not too many ways to actually earn Air Portugal or TAP points. It's only through Capital One, I believe.
I'm going to put them in C.
Virgin.
Yeah.
Now, this is interesting. Now, I don't know if this is true because I personally don't have the Capital One cards yet. When I was researching transfer partners, it said that for Capital One you can transfer to Virgin Red. Now that's a little bit different than Virgin Atlantic because Virgin Atlantic is mostly just airplane, but Virgin Red is you're probably not going to like this, but you can redeem them for Virgin Hotels.
Virgin has under its umbrella all those companies you mentioned: Virgin Red, Virgin Atlantic, Virgin this and that, Virgin Scooters, Virgin Sneakers. They have big umbrella of Virgin, but it's not difficult to navigate that as far as points go. The points that I transfer from Capital One to Virgin Red go in the same account as the points I transfer from Amex to Virgin Atlantic.
Oh,
I have called and canceled a lot of Virgin flights. It's always super easy. Domestic Delta flights, you can book KLM Flying Blue flights. You can book Virgin flights, which I don't because they also carry those UK surcharges, cruises. But Virgin has a ton of utility.
especially with their bonuses, like
They have
30%.
tons of bonuses. Now, the question is, do you put them in S or A? I'm going to put them in A,
Really?
and this is why. I have over 100,000 Virgin miles kind of orphaned in the program, just waiting for domestic Delta flights because they do have the potential for a lot of cool stuff. I just haven't been able to find those.
Wyndham. So Wyndham is interesting. I feel like same problem with Choice Hotels. A lot of their lower ends can be kind of iffy.
Yeah, you don't
But-
stay at Days Inn or they have some pretty rough
Yeah.
properties. But after really looking into them, I think it's a good program for a lot of people.
Right.
South America, lots of value. Over 1 cent per point for the Wyndham points. So Wyndham on this list, I think they're going to be C. They're definitely not D. If you were a world traveler and Wyndham was your primary hotel chain, I think you're in good shape. Yeah, so World of Hyatt, where do you?
Personally-
People will just, everybody will click off the video if I start talking about Hyatt. So let's hear what you have to say about them.
Personally, for me,
They can't
it's
be
just
less than
easy.
A.
Oh no,
Can't be less.
No, no, no. Let's just go ahead and put it in S.
What we're asking is if it's S or A.
I think it's definitely S because I feel like it gets a lot of people into transferring points and getting into
so
that.
here's the question though. This is honest. It's not.
It-
World of Hyatt is an S, says you.
Yeah.
Now, are they an S transfer partner or are they an S hotel transfer partner?
Definitely S hotel transfer partner. Definitely comparing to some of the airlines. Of course, you're not going to get as much value. I think mostly for me, I've gotten 6 cents per point. Definitely not, insane business class 10 cents per point.
And it appeals to more people that way.
And it's just
Anybody
easy.
can get that value.
So this one you don't have too much experience with. Is it? How do you pronounce it? Eva or?
I've heard EVA. But
Okay, well, let's go EVA.
Call Kevin Yang. Yeah, he's the EVA guy. They have some big league redemptions. And I think their big thing is Taipei. And I think for the people going to Taiwan, which a lot of people are, that's at a good sweet spot. And apparently they have a really nice business in first class.
The only thing I know about EVA Airlines, they have a Hello Kitty plane.
I don't know. I don't want to say anything. I thought it was a
You're
girl
gonna hurt
thing.
my feelings.
I thought it was a girl thing, but don't
like
they have
you
a
said.
screwy redemption rate? Well, after some research, it looks like Capital One transfers 1,000 to 750 EVA points. I think it's a little more difficult to earn these points, and I think your sweet spots are very
Narrow.
narrow, and it's focused on if you want to go to Taiwan, that's your best bet. And in the grand scheme of things, I think I put this one in C.
Accor Hotels. Now, this one's a little bit tricky. It's definitely, I feel like, a lot harder to use, especially Capital One is the only one that transfers to them, and 2-to-1. Definitely, their points can go far. So I think after transferring at the 2-to-1, and if the cents per point on average about 2 cents, it could be more, it kind of evens out to kind of 1 cent per point if you transfer it out.
If you are a Accor Hotels user, fill us in the comments, but I don't know anything about them. And there's only one reason why I don't know anything about them, because I'm not interested. So if you can't interest me, like I love to travel and go do, if you can't interest me to do the research, then I'm not going to hold much value. I'm going to put it in D.
IHG. Now, IHG has some pretty good redemptions. For me, IHG is C tier just because, like I said, I'm mostly domestic. I've looked at a lot of their just hotels, and it's just kind of hard to redeem. However, the credit cards are really nice. I just personally wouldn't transfer my points to IHG.
I agree with that part, but you don't have to. This is why I am a big fan and supporter of IHG's program. One, you can purchase ambassador status. That really only matters when you stay at Intercontinentals, but that segues into my next pro. They have higher end Intercontinentals and Kimptons. IHG as a program, their strength is next door here. Holiday Inn Expresses for when you need that one clean, quiet, comfortable. Stealing that from Dugras, you get the 4th night free on points. That's strong.
Yeah.
It's better than the 5th night free. Worldwide presence is a pro. I'm going to put them at B.
JetBlue. Now, JetBlue, I know you can get a lot of value out of this one. Like a lot of domestics, you can just book a round trip for 10,000 points. It's not that hard to...
Where can you do that?
So recently, CJ was able to fly from Florida to DC. It was about 10,000, 11,000 points, and it was a round trip. So it was pretty insane. Of course, not the nicest aircraft you can, ever fly in, but it's decent.
Okay, I don't have experience with JetBlue, and that is one of the cons.
Okay.
Where would I ever fly a JetBlue plane?
Yeah, it's mostly domestic.
I live in Ohio. Well, it's only...
Oh, yeah.
It's only New York and Florida, I think.
Yeah.
Now you can go to Puerto Rico, but it's extremely isolated in location. They have some of the worst rankings as far as delays and cancellations.
That's true.
And people will say, well, that's because they're in JFK. They have a wonky transfer rating with Amex, right? 200 to 250. It's not 1-to-1.
Chase is the best one to transfer, but you have to make sure you're getting that value first.
And most people, I think, would agree that transferring from Chase is probably not a good idea versus booking through their travel portal. So I'm okay with them at D.
D?
As a transfer partner. Because it's very limited, wonky transfer. You're not going to transfer your Amex points to JetBlue. I know you're not.
No.
Ever. Not even going to consider it, right?
No.
You'll pay cash.
Right.
So what's that tell you as a transfer partner?
That's true. Huh.
Not that it doesn't have
Value.
opportunity and value, but compared to the overall spectrum, I think it does compare with Aeromexico and Etihad. Doesn't mean it's bad, guys. It's just not as valuable as the rest.
Right. Just comparatively, because all of these have a value somewhere.
Sure. And there's somebody who we could have the worst transfer partner here, and somebody's killing it with them.
Southwest, the NASCAR, the NASCAR.
That's the NASCAR airline, right? Listen, I bag on Southwest more than anybody. I'm not big on their program.
Yeah.
Does the Southwest program have value? Absolutely. Is it in their points?
No, not. I personally would book cash for a lot of their flights.
Or through the portal. Because guess what? They're only partnered with Chase. If you're transferring Chase UR points to get 1.2 cents per point on a Southwest flight, I have some news for you. It might upset you. You might not be ready for this. But if you just book it through the portal, 99.9% of the time, everything's going to be all right. But you're going to be getting a higher value, just a little bit. You're also going to be earning on that purchase. I would rank them as D because I know better. If we're ranking transfer partners, they are very low because let's face it, JetBlue and Southwest points are fixed at a cash value. The companion pass might be strong enough to push it into C. Dan the Credit Frog flies Southwest.
Yeah.
And loves it.
But I don't think he transfers any of his points to Southwest.
He better not be.
Oh, God.
Stan, you're too smart for that. You better not be doing that.
Oh, Marriott. Now, when I first started getting really into the credit card game, I love Marriott's. I felt like you could get the value from them. But after the revamp, their points, I feel like, are almost the same value as one Hilton point. But it's not as easy to earn on Marriott, and they don't have like the bonus transfer through Amex where you get 1 to 2. It's just still 1 to 1.
Marriott has the best properties.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Hilton has the best cards, and you could consider Hyatt having the best program. Marriott as a partner, not with their now their properties being the best factor in. Yeah, sure. I've always had trouble getting big time value from Marriott points.
I actually did once just before the revamp. So it was a property near Toronto. It was an autograph collection. I got 4 cents per point on that booking. But after that, I wasn't able to find anything worth value.
If we're comparing it to all these transfer partners, I'm comfortable with it being in D.
United Airlines. Now, United Airlines, a lot of people have gotten a lot of good value. It's a pretty good domestic travel.
What do you think Lonnie would put it as?
S tier. S tier.
Lonnie has a lot of good points about the value of United points that are specific to him and really good for him. I can't rank him as high as Lonnie does. You're not going to use them for traveling to Europe anymore since the devaluation for the most part. As a transfer partner, though, I'm going with C because I think there's plenty of value out there. But for me, and this is why I say for me, I travel domestic economy. I travel international business class. I travel solo. I travel with player 2. I travel with the family. Everything that you could think of, I do regularly. And I think they're just that middle of the road.
Aer Lingus. Now, Aer Lingus is a little bit interesting. I don't hear too many good redemptions on that, but I believe it's in Avios as well.
It's Avios, and they do have really good economy redemptions to Dublin. I think you could get even cheaper than $15,000 each way from the East Coast. Does Aer Lingus have a great credit card? No. Do they have great American Airlines redemptions? Not that I know of. So I think they're a one-trick pony. As a transfer partner, I'm probably comfortable with him being in D.
Iberia. Now, Iberia, you can get quite a bit, right?
Everything we've said about British Airways, you can do American Airlines flights.
Right.
You can transfer through Avios, which is great. But Iberia, you can do the off-peak East Coast all the way out to Chicago to Madrid for 34,000 Avios business class. And I think for that, it bumps them up to C.
Delta. So Delta, is domestic, so it's easy to redeem for a lot of domestic flights. Personally, for me, I've been able to easily redeem for 1.5 cents, 1.8 cents per point, but definitely international is where it really lacks. You pay a lot of fees.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me
Oh no.
let me further downgrade that. We're rating it as a transfer partner.
Yeah, and then
You can only transfer from American Express, and then they want to take a piece of it.
the excise tax.
No one else does an excise tax besides American Express with this Delta. To me, that ruins it because it devalues it. Here's my other gripe with Delta. It's another one that I would probably feel more comfortable paying cash for if I can't get a good deal with Virgin or Flying Blue. So I personally think Delta as an airline has the best hard product of the legacy carriers. I think the planes are more up to date. The entertainment's better. It's got it always wins
service.
in the schedule and the service. So as an airline, I think it's ranked a lot higher. But as a transfer partner, I am very, very unlikely to ever transfer an American Express MR point to Delta. So I'm okay with leaving them in the D.
My wife just called, so we're probably going to have to end it. We have a little bit more. I think we'll just go ahead and finish it in a live, and we'll do that live on Luke's Points and Miles channel. So I hope you all like this type of video, and we'll see you on Luke's channel. Do you have anything?
No, thanks for tuning in. Definitely comment below because these are our opinions, and they're based on our experiences and what we value. So, like I said, if you're killing it with Etihad, I'd love to know how. If you're getting terrible value with Aeroplan or Flying Blue, let me know.
We'll see you at the live.